Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marvel Plus podcast, the show where we talk the Marvel shows on Disney Plus and how they connect to the MCU. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 on Sundays, usually around 7 p.m. You can check it out over there for all the fun talk and discussion. If you want to join in the chat over there, you're more than welcome to. But if you can't catch live, that's A-OK. Drops over on YouTube. Just search Enigma9011. You should be able to find it over there and leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. Let us know what you thought of the show, the episode, etc. Whatever you'd like. So today, it's been a little while. Usually I do the episodic breakdowns, go through the whole summary, all that jazz. Today we're mixing it up with this series. We're talking about She-Hulk, all 9 episodes in film. We're going to be in full, Jesus Christ, all 9 episodes in full, breaking down the whole series, kind of giving my thoughts and review discussion on it, and going through it that way. So, first off, impressions of She-Hulk. Now, I did not watch any episodes until literally last night. I watched 2 episodes last night, and I watched 7 today, leading up to the podcast today. I know there was a lot of discourse. Maybe it's just the Twitter sphere. Obviously, Twitter is always a ball of fire with people and their opinions and things going on. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I thought the show was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the show. Were there things that I had problems with or kind of concern about? Yes, definitely. I thought, though, however, for this character, who I don't, have a lot of history with, I just know her from obviously early in the comics and Marvel's Capcom 3, her being a character there, things like that. I didn't know much about She-Hulk. I didn't know much about Jen, her backstory, stuff like that. So this was one of those series where the excitement was there because, it's a new show, it's a new product, but it wasn't like something I was kind of yearning for, if that makes sense. So going into it, I was kind of lowball, and coming out of it, I was very excited. It was a lot of fun. I liked the presentation style that they went with it. Shorter episodes, more episodes. I did enjoy the more comedic aspect of Jen and the fourth wall breaking. I know that's typically tied in with Deadpool and what he does. I don't know if she's done that in the comics where she's broken the fourth wall, but from a viewer perspective, I thought it was entertaining in this more sitcom-y comedy style that they were going with this series. Enjoyed that a lot, and surprisingly enough, I enjoyed the characters that they did introduce. I know we had a lot of guest stars and guest star appearances in this in the show, in the series, or the season 1. We had obviously Bruce Banner, we had Abomination, we had Daredevil later on, we had Wong. I know we had those mainstay characters pop in, or at least people who have been established, but I did enjoy the new characters that we met through her law firm. I don't really feel like they said their names often, so I will apologize that I am blanking on them. I know one of the other lawyers, Mallory, I think her name popped up a lot, but then you had her paralegal who transferred with her from the one law office to the new one, as well as this other gentleman who was already working there. They were great. I loved the supportive kind of relationship that they had. I know Mallory was kind of newer into the relationship, or at least it seemed like it took a little while for their friendship to build, but I did appreciate their relationship and did like those characters that were new and established in this series. As for the story aspects, a lot of different stories obviously across these 9 episodes. I thought for the most part everything was wrapped up in each individual episode. I liked that. Were there certain things that did carry over from episode to episode, whether it was the bigger plot or maybe smaller individual plots? Yes. Whether it was the Titania stuff or the Intelligentsia, I believe, was the online campaign, and then the Hulk King thing. Obviously, we had these extended threads, but I did like, for the most part, how each episode had its own individual story, and it didn't feel like there was any filler because it was a clear start to finish in that episode, and it felt like it filled the entire thing, if that makes sense. So whether it was the first episode with obviously the car crash and her kind of giving her backstory of the powers. Poppy Griff saying he's got a question. Oh, I watched only about 5 minutes episode 1 and asked my confusion about you, right? Yeah. So the power, her with the powers. I get that. Then we had her taking on this new job in the new case with Emil. Then we had Emil's case. Then we had, was it Titania or was it the wedding stuff? I took so many notes. Okay, so episode 4 was the Donnie Blaze stuff, which, okay, that was interesting. Episode 5 was the Titania and the makeup line. Episode 6 was the wedding. Episode 7 was the retreat. Yes, episode 7 was the retreat. Episode 8 was Leapfrog and Daredevil arriving. And then episode 9, obviously, we had the finale. So I felt, for the most part, each of those episodes felt fun, felt exciting, because they were these shorter storylines that they were trying to tell. I think personally, out of all of them, I think the retreat was really fun in meeting these different characters that are kind of going through like villain rehab, I guess. And the healthy conversations that they had there about obviously Jen dealing with her own struggles and the She-Hulk persona and people being interested in that, but then her as a normal person, people just kind of almost brushing her by. I enjoyed that episode a lot. And I guess that dynamic the entire time, too, of her not having the struggles of Hulk, where he has a whole nother personality in there, which he was fighting and battling against. Obviously, the rage monster versus him as a human. And his struggle with, like, merging those two, I guess, having control. While Jen didn't have that struggle of another personality when in her Hulk form, but having this, confidence issue and kind of thing that she was kind of dealing with herself, whether she was hulked out version or not hulked out version. I thought that was a nice thread to kind of have to go throughout this entire series. So let's go with the big plot points, I guess. Those 3 I kind of alluded to earlier. So we had the Titania stuff, we had the Intelligentsia stuff, hopefully I'm saying that right, and we had the Hulking stuff. Obviously, we'll learn later on that Intel and Hulking were together, so we'll leave that till later. The Titania stuff. I will say this was a little bit odd. It kind of seemed just not throwaway, but it seemed like the issues they were fighting over with the makeup line and stuff like that, kind of a little weird. Obviously, Titania shows up at the very first episode, does this whole courtroom brawl, and we're like, oh, okay, great, something here. And then later on, she just is selling makeup and is this big icon, social media person, whatever, and then the two also get in a fight at a wedding. Odd thing there. So let's put a pin in that. Interesting. Then we have this whole overarching storyline of this not intelligence, but this like online presence of just threatening Jen constantly. She-Hulk, like death threats and shitting on her and all these things. And it builds until we get this reveal at the end that it's this creep that we've seen numerous times. She ends up going on a date with them. Apparently he got a black market Wakandan spear, which I'm not sure ties in with Hawkeye. He's just a creep. And the whole group is like dude bros who are sexist and like, or just really judgmental about like, ooh, why is it this way? Why isn't it that way? Blah, 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 whatever. And I thought that reveal was cool. I thought the build was cool. We get to the finale where there's this whole rally and Emil showing up. I felt bad because like, damn, Abomination had this whole character growth and arc and was like, why are you turning back on it? I guess you're a super villain. That's the whole thing. You play along and then you're evil. Turns out he wasn't evil. But then we get the generic, okay, Todd's going to take the blood that we stole from Jen through her relationship with Josh, which, by the way, fuck Josh. That, man, I felt so bad for her there. Injects himself and he hulks out. Now, here's where my hang up, I guess, comes from the show. And I guess I'm skipping around, and this is the finale where maybe I should have kept this to the end, but whatever. So going into the finale, we build up to this point, right? Big reveal. Todd's going to do the injection, yada, yada. And then Titania shows up, and Hulk shows up from dropping from the ceiling, and then Hulk and Abomination are fighting, and they don't mean to be. And then Jen's like, whoa, what's going on? Hold on. And we break that fourth wall again. And like I said, I enjoyed that aspect throughout the whole series. Some comedic bits, just some inner monologue thoughts about other characters, whatever. Oh, we're flirting with Daredevil. All funny, fun stuff there. Whatever. Then we do this whole journey, breaking the fourth wall. We exit the program, go into Disney Plus, go into Assembled, which is like the behind the scenes series. And we do this whole thing where she's going through Disney headquarters, Marvel headquarters, whatever the hell, to go talk to Kevin Feige. Now, I'm going to explain the whole thing, and then I'll give my full opinions on it. Goes to Kevin Feige. Turns out Kevin's a robot, whole acronym. And he's like, no, this isn't the show we wrote. Like, oh, I understand this is the whole trope. And she's like, we do this over and over again. Super soldier serum, blood thing, powers taken away. It's old. Let's change this. Let's change this. And she changed the whole pretty much finale of her show. And then we go back to the show, and it's like, all right, it's wrapped up. So now, how do I feel about that second half? I will say it was entertaining. Was it fun and funny? Yes. I liked that Feige was a robot. I liked how the lens looked like his hat that he wears all the time. I liked the call-outs to like X-Men and like, oh, can we get Daredevil to show up again because he's cute, blah, blah, blah. I did enjoy that. What I didn't enjoy was going back to it afterwards. Because we built this interesting story, this plot, right? Where it's this whole scandal, her phone and information is stolen, and then it's like exposed to everybody. We have this interesting story plot. And then at the end, when she goes back, Todd's getting arrested. He's not superpowered. I was fine with that. Todd's getting arrested. All the dude bros are kind of, in shambles. And, like, everything's cleaned up. There was no conclusion. It was just like, oh my God, build. And then we're done. Nothing happened. She didn't do anything. Obviously, she did the, talking to the robot and the whole comedic bit there. But I was expecting have this discussion with the robot, with Kevin, and then go back and we get her dealing with the conclusion of these events. Now, I guess I could understand if Todd's not going to get the superpowers, she could just literally take them and chuck them through a wall, whatever. I get that. But there was all these moving pieces like A-Bomb and Hulk going at it, Titania showing up. Obviously, he's got the group there. I'm sure they had some kind of weaponry or whatever. It just felt like a balloon deflating, just gone. And I'm not trying to say, like, they should have gone with the setup of Todd injecting himself. I even wrote a note. It was like, that's a bad note, dude. We already know Jen survived because something in their DNA and it allows them to do gamma radiation. So if he does this, like, he's a nobody. He probably would have just died, which would have been funny, but also would have been a deflating ending. It just felt weird to me because, like I said, it was a build. It was a compelling story the entire time, building suspense. There's the mystery elements. Oh my God, we get the episode 8 finish where it's like everything's in shambles. It's supposed to be positive, and it just didn't do anything. So that personally would be my only hang up, I guess, for the series, or at least my biggest criticism, I guess, is I enjoyed the breaking of the fourth wall and going to talk to Robot Kevin and everything. Like I said, it was entertaining and it was fun and it was funny, but I don't know if it was the best move plot-wise, like as a rewarding conclusion to a story, if that makes sense. It just felt like a whole veering off track that didn't conclude anything for us. Obviously, we get the build with her for her relationship with Matt. I'm fine with that. I know I could see people's criticisms. I haven't seen much of it, but I could understand if people didn't like how Daredevil was depicted in this show. I did like the quippiness between the two and the sassiness. I did enjoy the smart talk. I'm not going to lie. I'm fine with them together. Totally fine with that. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes going forward. Obviously, he's on the East Coast. She's on the West Coast. So I don't know the full dynamic there. So there's that. I'm fine with it. I get it if everybody's not. Once again, I don't have a lot of history with the comics. Apparently, She-Hulk has been... That sounds really weird phrasing-wise. Has been this way. She's been very flirtatious and had relationships with people. I don't know how long-standing these relationships have been, but this is not something new that they just kind of threw into the show to be like, ooh, spicy, whatever. Apparently, this is a established thing. So, like I said, I don't know what it holds for the future. I was fine with it. I was fine with them kind of shooting the shit with each other and that, but whatever. Also, Daredevil's a little bit different here. Seems more relaxed. I do like the references to Hell's Kitchen. And things like that. The suit, I like how it's an homage to one of his comic designs. When he got unmasked earlier during the whole She-Hulk fight, didn't seem very protective. It was literally just this headpiece comes off. Like, I felt like that could have happened at any point. And then later on, he has to pull off this whole hood. Weird there. But cool to see him in there. I wish that didn't get spoiled or confirmed previously. I wish that helmet reveal in like episode 4 was the first time we're like, because it was a cool reveal. It was like cheeky, quick, but served its purpose. So that was there. Other references that at least I picked up on. So obviously the Hulk stuff. We get a lot of Sakaar references, aka World War Hulk stuff. We had references to this before, or at least homages to it with Thor Ragnarok, where Hulk and Thor kind of battle it out in that gladiator coliseum. We haven't been able to do a World War Hulk movie, from my understanding, because Universal still owns the rights to a solo movie or whatever. So getting the Sakaar stuff here, cool. I don't know much about World War Hulk. Yes, he does have a son named Scar. We're very original with these names left and right here. So apparently Hulk got down and nasty at some point during his space ventures. Whatever. I don't know much about the World War Hulk series, so I'm sorry I can't give a lot of information or answers based on that. But I do know, or I did know that he did have a son out there and the Hulk family and all that jazz. Cool to see that. Interested to see where that goes from here. I know we've been building up a little bit of a... yes, Hulk did smash. A little bit of a younger team. So like Young Avengers with like Kate Bishop and obviously new Black Widow and Kamala and, you know, these younger heroes to kind of be that second generation. I don't know if Scar will be part of this. It kind of seemed like he was just like, hey, in the background and didn't do much and kind of seemed like that angsty teen, like, ugh, I don't want to be at the family dinner. Interesting way to reveal it, or at least it didn't feel super impactful. I don't know, but interesting to see him in there. Another reference, and this one I'm surprised I even caught on, but I kind of flipped out only just because, like, it's one of those things like, oh my God, I'm rewarded for knowing this. Not like, oh my God, these things are going to be the next big thing around. But Wrecking Crew making it into the show. If you don't know who Wrecking Crew is, that's the 4 jabronis that jumped Jen outside of her apartment. We got a mystical crowbar and the ball and chain and some other stuff. Total jobbers. Totally portrayed the right way, from my understanding. Like, they're not going to be a big thing. They're not going to be the next big villain. But I did appreciate their inclusion in the show. Once again, one of those small things of like, oh my God, rewarding for knowing the product. A little bit of an Easter egg of like, I felt like, oh, I know they were dumb. They were jobbers. They filled their role. Interesting to see one of them at the retreat. I thought there was going to be a whole angle where she's going through the therapy. She gets vulnerable, de-hulks. I thought that's what they were going to stab her with the needle to take her blood. But we didn't go that route. Obviously, we went the Josh route. But cool to see them. If you want to know how they got their powers, at least in comic book lore, the items were empowered by some Norse god, rival, demon, whatever, to kind of tackle on against Thor and other people. So that's why the items were powered there, Asgardian stuff. So there's that. I don't know. Cool for me. Like I said, I don't expect anything to come out of Wrecking Crew to be this big thing. It was just fun for me to be like, oh my God, I know these guys. So there was that. Wong was fine. Wong was fine in here. Had some comedic elements. Donnie Blaze, I don't think that is a reference in any way to Ghost Rider. Obviously, Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider. I do not think there's any relation, so I'm just going to move past that one. Nothing really there. Everybody was freaking out about Madison. I know on Twitter, when that episode dropped, she was funny, but just in and out. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, like I said, I enjoyed the comedy aspects of the show. I thought it was fun and a good time overall. The ending, that is my biggest gripe of just like entertaining. Yes. Satisfying as a story conclusion? No. I would have been fine if they did it a little different. Let's go and do the criticisms and then have some kind of conclusion with She-Hulk, with Jen kind of doing something. That would have been fine. I would have been cool with that. But when she returned to the actual show and it just, everything was wrapped up and concluded, fell flat. Didn't care for it. Yeah, so I guess that's my my thoughts on the She-Hulk series. Hopefully you liked it. If you didn't, I understand. You know, there's, with the amount of content that Marvel is coming out with, not everything's going to hit. We already talked about in the past of like Falcon Winter Soldier not being bad, but maybe not been everybody's favorite. And then obviously Miss Marvel, where it had episodes that were rocking and were moving the plot forward, and then the other stuff felt filler. And obviously What If being controversial of just like, it's not my taste or whatever. Not me personally, but like the general. Everything's not going to hit for everybody, and that's fine. There's a lot of content out there, and they're trying to, you know, have some variety into it to make it interesting and not just the same old thing over and over and over again, as they alluded to in this show with the finale. So I get it. I understand. Just move on to the next one. We have Black Panther coming out in theaters in about a month as of recording. And then the next Disney Plus show is a great question. Let's look that up while we're here, shall we? Let's see. Upcoming Marvel TV shows. Get out of here, Ed. So we got What If, early 2023, Secret Invasion, which trailer is out. I would recommend checking that out in spring of 23. Echo, building off of Hawkeye from summer 23. Loki season 2, also summer 23. Ironheart, fall 23. X-Men 97, another animated one, fall 23. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, winter 23. Daredevil, spring 24. Spider-Man animated sometime in 24. Marvel Zombies, TBA. Apparently there's a Wakandan series, TBA. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff. So it looks like What If will be next. So we get to kind of build on this hypothetical universe. I wonder where they're going to build from there. Obviously, we had the Guardians thing towards the finale. So I don't know if we'll continue building on them or we'll just get more hypothetical situations with the Phase 4 stuff we've gotten. Maybe some more Phase 3. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see for that. Yeah, 23, busy year. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Welcome back to the Marvel Plus podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. You can catch this podcast or the show live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011, usually on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. You're enjoying all the fun theory talk and discussion over there if you'd like to. But if you can't catch it live, that's a-okay. Go over to YouTube the very next day. Just search Enigma9011. You should be able to find it and catch it out, or catch it over there. And let us know what your thoughts on the shows in the comments section down below, and we'll get back to it in the next episode. Yeah, we're back. Marvel's back. Well, not back. They've been here. I'm excited to be back to talk more Marvel stuff with you. Hopefully, I'll see you guys for the next iteration of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But for now, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening, giving us a watch. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.